Hello and welcome everyone. I, Harshal Desai, Assistant Editor at Express Computer, which is the IT publication by the Indian Express Group. Welcome you all to an exclusive webinar today titled Enhancing Development Productivity with Generative AI while Mitigating Security Risks. We believe today's expert-led session on integrating generative AI into software development will be an amazing learning session for all the delegates. Today, we will learn how to enhance productivity, maintain code quality, and mitigate security risks, all while harnessing AI responsibly. This webinar is designed for developers, security professionals, and IT leaders looking to harness the power of AI responsibly and effectively. I would love to introduce our speakers to everyone. Today, we will have Ronnie Neo, Solution Engineer at Sonar, and Sanket Dabore, Customer Success Manager at enreap, joining us and sharing their perspective as views with all of us. I would, further would like to brief all our audience about both our speakers. Ronnie Neo is a seasoned full stack developer with expertise in web and mobile technologies and a strong entrepreneurial spirit with 15 years of experience. He has played pivotal role in startups, including co-founding startups where he led innovative development efforts. His corporate experience includes a notable tenure as a solution engineer at Meta, where he contributed to impactful solution for nearly 5 years. And currently, he is serving as a solution engineer at Sonar in Singapore. We welcome Ronnie. Thank you, Ronnie, for joining us today. Let us also welcome Sanket, who is a focused, dynamic, and result-oriented professional with over 7 years of experience in business development, channel sales, and service industry. And he possesses expert knowledge of the selling process and fully recognizes the human and emotional aspect of buying and selling. He demonstrates a consistent history of driving business growth and building a strong client relationship. We welcome both of them to this webinar. Before we start this session formally, we would uh, like to brief our audience on the house rules. As you all know, this webinar is being broadcasted live and will be available as on demand on our website. This is an audio video webinar. As you all can see, we will have poll questions in between, and we request all to participate in the same. We will have a round of question and answers towards the end of the session, and you can send in your questions using the question text box, and we will address the same after the presentations are over. There is a survey form also, and I like everyone to please note at the end of the session, we request you to please fill it out. If you face any technical issues, please use the Q&A text box to send in your issues, and we will try to sort the same to the best of our abilities. If any of your questions are unanswered, do not worry. We will connect you with you over the email and answer the same. So these are the house rules, and I just wanted to update you all on this. So let's move. And this is the time, we will invite both our speakers now. So Sanket and Ronnie will uh, present one by one. And first, I would love to invite Sanket Dabore, Customer Success Manager enreap, who will be delivering the presentation on enhancing development productivity with generative AI while mitigating security risk. I welcome you both, Sanket, Ronnie, and with this, I hand over this virtual dais to you, Sanket.
Thank you so much, Ashal. Thank you for your brief introduction and thank you for giving me this opportunity to speak about us like enreap. So give me a, and thank you all for joining this webinar and taking a time to join us. So I'll just quickly introduce about enreap, what exactly enreap is all about and what we are offering. Just allow me a minute's time to share my screen. So I'll be quickly running through what exactly the enreap is all about. So we, as a enreap, we are a partner in customers' digital transformation journey to help achieve the operational delivery excellence. So basically, in order to achieve this, we help our customers, or you can say businesses, achieve sustainable and competitive advantage by managing and executing technology-enabled operation strategy. So be it agile, traditional, or multi-speed IT enterprises. So as you can see, we are headquartered in India, Pune. So along with India, we do have offices in Singapore, Dubai, USA, and Malaysia. So we have across 600 plus clientele across locations, and we are more than a decade now in this particular domain. And we have the in-house expertise in terms of pre-sales as well as post-sales implementation. So basically, enreap enables and optimize client business metrics like time to market, throughput, delivery risk, etc. So we partner in customers evolution and transformation journey and enable strategic alignment and governance by leveraging processes, frameworks, and tools for orchestration, automation, and delivery management. So we enable teams to realize their optimum productivity and streamline their business operations effectively. I would definitely like or delighted to inform you that we as a Enreap are a sole gold partner of Sonar in India, a renowned name in the software development and code quality space. This strategic collaboration enables us to offer you a comprehensive range of Sonar products and services. So that I'll be covering in the next slide. So with the help of Sonar partnerships, you can achieve the cost optimization, license provisioning, implementation, uh, after that technical support, etc. So along with Sonar, we have these OEM engagements like Atlassian, AWS, JetBrains, JFrog, Monday.com, and GitLab. These are nothing but the Sonar product portfolio which I'm currently carrying, and there are different offerings from Sonar. That is Sonar Cube ID, which was earlier known as Sonar Lint, Sonar Cube, which was Sonar Cube Server, which was earlier known as Sonar Cube only, and Sonar Cube Cloud, which was earlier known as Sonar. With the these are the end-to-end enrip services being offered to our customers, right from the discovery and assessment till the consultation, architecture, project management, to that the tech support and managed services. So these are nothing but our end-to-end services which are being offered to our customers, and these are the services we help our customers in terms of along with the license reselling businesses. So that's it from the enreaps and offerings. I'll just hand it over the virtual dice to Rodi and Ash. Thank you.
Thank you, Enric team, for inviting us over as well. Hi, everyone. My name is Ronnie. I'm a solution engineer at Sonar. So we at Sonar here develop solutions to help you scan your source code for vulnerabilities, code quality issues, as well as security risks. So today, I'm going to come in and talk to you guys about using generative AI in your software development workflow. And in doing so, how can you try to minimize any security risks that might comes with it? I'm going to start off with a quote from a notable engineer. So this quote, he refers to the main challenge with AI-assisted programming is that it becomes so easy to generate a lot of code which shouldn't have been written in the first place. So we software engineer have a lot of tools in our repertoire, and it has been growing year by year. I think we used to be able to cut and copy and paste source code from Stack Overflow, and then we come up with platforms that allows us to create boilerplate source code just with a click of a button. And now with generative AI, we are able to even create application with just a few quick prompts. So with all these tools at our disposal, like maybe sometimes we will start to ask ourselves what are the challenges and what kind of benefits it can bring to us as we start utilizing all these tools. So what are some of the more popular tools that are available out in the market right now? I'm pretty sure everyone has heard about GitHub Copilot as well as ChatGPT. And in the recent years, we also have things like Cursor AI, which is an AI model that's integrated with an IDE. And Google they themselves have come up with Gemini Code Assistant as well. So maybe just as a quick poll to the audience, I would like to find out like what AI tool do you frequently use? So feel free to participate in this poll. I think the poll will be launched into your Zoom app, and feel free to actually post your answer over there. Okay, we'll give it about 20-25 seconds. So feel free to participate in this post and let us know like what's your favorite AI tool, so that we can have a better understanding of like what kind of tools you are familiar with, and something that we can also talk about. So please give your voice and maybe perhaps your participation as well to this poll, so that we can better understand that. Maybe we can give it about 10 more seconds before we close the poll.
Yeah. Thanks, Ronnie. We request everyone to please submit the responses. Which AI tool do you frequently use? It's quite an interesting question. Oh, okay. So, Ronnie, as we can see, GitHub 24%. ChatGPT is, I believe, the maximum 59%. Over to you.
Thank you. So yes, I can see from the audience reply that ChatGPT seems to be their favorite, followed by Copilot itself. So I'm going to just briefly talk about GitHub Copilot. So this is something that they have published on their website. So they did a survey with the developers to help better understand what their developers are saying after using Copilot. So with this survey, they found out that 75% of the developer actually is being more fulfilled after using a tool. 55% reported faster coding, and over 5,000 businesses has actually started using Copilot as part of their business tool, with 46%, I believe, in the last year or so, where the analyze seems to be assisted by Copilot and over 1 million developers. So we can definitely see the main advantage of using all these generative AI tool. Of course, with all these advantages, all these benefits they can bring to you, probably you want to ask yourself, is there any other risks or challenges? So that's where we start to come in as well. So I think it's quite fair to for anyone to say like, are this code reliable? Are this code free from errors, bugs, or any performance issues? With all this new generative AI code coming on from training data that's provided by the public, what kind of security vulnerabilities are there? Would there be loopholes where there can be malicious actors coming in to exploit and gain unauthorized access to application? And again, the code comes in as a standalone in maybe your ChatGPT or as well as your Copilot. But when you integrate them into application with your unique environment, assets, maybe your infrastructure, would that integration then create more loopholes or vulnerabilities? Again, maybe 3 or 4 months later, maybe a year later, you want to make changes to the code itself. You want to add in more features. You want to edit certain variables. You want to make changes to it. How easy is it for your developers to make those changes? And that question will be like, would that be so complex that you would then also rely on generative AI? Would your developers spend a lot more time trying to understand the code rather than actually creating value by innovating on your solution? And all this boil down to the technical debt that all this generative AI might come in, because they actually emphasize or prioritize on syntax correctness rather than efficiency. And that might lead to more churn and complexity, and will definitely increase the cost to repair or to patch them later on in the future. So we do have some data point to share with you. So in some of the research done by various groups and research studies, I think one of them reported that almost 30% of Copilot generated code have security weakness. And these weaknesses are diverse. So it's not located or not specialized to certain area, and it is related to different CWE as well. And another study found that when those code actually pass the test cases, more than 50% of the Java code and more than 30% of the Python code actually has code quality issue. This means that maintaining that in the future may become a challenge. And then another study reported that out of the 164 problems that they tested with ChatGPT, only 30% of them able to solve it correctly, and more than 20% of them were actually incorrect. So with all this information, there's actually even more study done. So we do have some red flags for code quality itself. So this study is done by GitClear. So they analyze and classify over 1 billion lines of code across different repositories, from commercial to the public open source repo. So they analyze them across multiple dimensions and attributes. So in this case, you can see over the years from 2020 to 2024, with the last year in mind, there's actually a marked increase in the number of codes being generated. So we can speculate that these are all AI influenced because all these tools come into place, especially the last 2 years. But one key attribute I want to focus on is the churn. So in this particular study, churn is actually the code that has been committed and removed or refactored or reverted before 2 weeks is up. So this means that this code then being committed is either incomplete or there's error attributed to it. So this means that this is not a conclusive study, but it shows that there's a trend of the code going in a direction where you start to see more churn rather than more code that's being preserved itself. So then your question might also come that why do code quality matters? Why is it important? So based on, again, another survey done by CISQ, so this data is based just on US alone in 2020. So they found out code quality is actually one of the most critical challenges facing businesses today as we all become more online, we depend on software a lot. So in 2022, more than 2.4 trillion is the cost of poor software quality. And more than 4.35 trillion is lost to data breaches. And lastly, 85 billion is lost due to productivity from developers trying to fight poor quality code. And this is just based in US alone. If let's say you're talking about India, where you are producing software for the global economy, that numbers will definitely go up even higher. And then on top of that, what about the cost of fixing bugs? So as another study has done, you can see that if you leave your bug all the way to production and fix it during then, they found that the cost to do that is actually 6 to 15 times higher than if you fix them during the coding phase. So it's very important for developers to try to fix issues or vulnerabilities during the coding phase rather than leaving it to the production. So when you do that, we have one very prime example of what will happen if that happens, if you leave the code to, or leave the vulnerabilities to the production level. So I'm pretty sure everyone is familiar with this CrowdStrike thing that happened earlier in the year. So these issues alone cost CrowdStrike approximately 700 million just for remediation. They have to get engineers or technicians itself to go to individual machine and reboot them to remove the offending code. So that alone, because they can't do it remotely, have to have all these engineers coming in, cost them approximately 700 million just for the remediation. So this doesn't include the cost of revenue loss or maybe legal costs that might come in later. So again, this is cost in terms of speculation, this is cost mainly might be due to null references or out of memory access. Definitely something that you can detect or fix during the source code development. Other than this, what are some of the impacts of poor code quality? So it also limits your new feature development because you are spending time fighting the code, trying to understand the code. Feature development becomes slower. And in terms of every version that comes out, you'll definitely slow down that process as well. And for the developers alone, it will reduce the productivity because you again spend more time trying to fight the code. I think based on one study in Stack Overflow, they also realized that technical debt is one of the key important things that is on top of mind for a lot of developers. And with all these things coming in, it will definitely affect your deployment frequency. And so being able to release new features every 5 times a year, you're going to slow down to 1 or twice a year. And with all the complexity coming in, adding on top of onto your source code itself, vulnerabilities will be a lot harder to detect manually. So definitely security vulnerability rates will increase. And lastly, because you are not looking after the performance issues, your infrastructure maintenance cost is going to go up. You're going to have a lot more hardware needed to drive the same performance. And this issue is definitely growing. So with the increased reliance on AI-generated code, as you can see here in a few studies that we have shown, there is going to be a lot of technical debt being added on. And with the faster release cycle, which means that your customer is going to get used to your competitor releasing code using generative AI. They will expect you to do the same as well. And with this faster release cycle, you really need to ensure that problems get solved in a very timely manner. So you wouldn't want to leave them all the way to the production in order to resolve them. And with the growing complexity in software architecture, this is a problem that we're going to grow even bigger. So with that in mind, what are some of the current options available? So generally speaking, most of us rely on what we call external audit. So you will have a QA team, you will need to invest in a security team as well to audit your source code and generate a result at the end of the sprint. So it could be maybe a feature release sprint. At the end of the 2 or 3 weeks sprint itself, the team will come in and do a review and generate an Excel sheet with all the issues with the different severity level. And given that it's end of the release cycle, you probably are short for time. You're going to focus on the critical issues and leave the minor issues to maybe the next week, the next month, or even the next year. So as it accumulates and the releases start coming in, this will then definitely build up and making it a lot harder for your team to maintain with all this technical debt coming in. So this is a standard development lifecycle, as you can see here. So with the planning, coding, as well as the review and merge requests coming in, you can see that the testing is usually done at the very last step, where you have the DES, the manual test, the QA test coming in over there. So that means that when issue is being discovered over there, you'll go back up to the second stage again, and the whole thing will become very tedious. So what we hope that developers can do is this improved development lifecycle, where they try to analyze and find issues early on in maybe the coding stage, right down to your IDE level. And then add in additional tier of scanning or checking as well during the review process or during the merging process. So this will minimize the number of issues being found during the testing phase and will definitely shorten the life cycle as well. So what this will allow you to do is minimize the maintenance time and cost. So this is also again based on another study done by Stripe. I think the study is called the developer coefficient. So they found that 42% of developer time is actually spent on fixing technical debt. So if you are able to minimize that, you can definitely use those time given back on innovating, on enhancing your solutions. And when you do that, you definitely increase your developer productivity. And again, based on the same study, 59% of developers believe that they're spending too much time debugging instead of innovating. And with all this measure in place, it will definitely increase your software value. So software rewrites cost an average 3 times more than the initial estimate. And everything goes down to your reputational costs. So security risk is being minimized, operational costs will also go down as well. So you will then be more confident in making releases to production and making your customer a lot more happier. And what this means is also making your technical debt visible. So when you have an overview and visibility over your technical debt, you can make better decisions, reduce your maintenance costs, and even accelerate your software development. So this is basically a key to modernizing your software development and making sure that you are able to deliver on time as well. So with this in mind as well, I would like to also check in with the audience, like, is any of you guys using any security scanning tool with IDE? So this probably will be something that you might want to ask your team as well. So maybe as a poll to everyone over here, are you using any security scanning tool with your IDE? So
Thank
please
you.
feel free to participate. Yeah.
Thank you, Ronnie. So guys, all the delegates, this is the second poll. Are you using any security scanning tool with your IDE? Request everyone to please submit your responses. All right, so 53% yes, they use it for all their projects. 12% use it for some of their important projects. So everyone is using in some other way. No, I don't use any IDE plugins. 26% says they don't use any IDE plugins.
Mm.
Ronnie, over to you.
Thank you. These are some interesting numbers. So yes, I can see that quite a number of you actually use it for all your projects. So that's good to know. So perhaps this is a chance for you for others to also explore using this kind of tools for your project itself. So this is also where Sonar comes in. So Sonar here, as you heard just now, that we develop tools for security scanning as well as code quality scanning. So we do have a variety of tools over here, as you can see. SonarQube for IDE, SonarQube for cloud, and SonarQube for server. So we are here to help you make your code quality better, even if it's AI assisted. So we try to cover the entire lifecycle as well as your pipeline itself. So as you can see here, we have a few variety of our solution. So SonarCube Server is an on-prem solutions that does help you perform the scanning. We have SonarCube Cloud, which is actually a SaaS version of our SonarCube Server. And we have SonarCube IDE. So it's basically an integration to your IDE so that you can discover issues a lot earlier. And lastly, SonarCube Community Build, if you are interested in using this for your personal projects or your personal hobby itself. So how then your life cycle looks like when you're developing with Sonar here. So as you can see here, we have the same improved development lifecycle as I have shown earlier, but this time at the very start, you will have SonarCube IDE to help you look for issues when you are coding. So this is all in real time. So as you type along, it acts like a spell checker to help you understand if there's any issue over there. It also will be able to prompt you with what is the impact and how to fix it. So it also help you act like maybe like an educational tool to help you better understand what to avoid, what kind of pitfalls to look out for. And then we also have SonarCube Server or SonarCube Cloud to help reviewers, managers to manage their pipeline itself. So over there, they can actually use this tool to try to monitor to make sure that their software is of a certain quality and that the developers fulfill all the requirements. So this allows you to make sure and manage in terms of the security itself, and to make sure that only code that fits a certain requirement get merged into your actual main branch, for example. And this also gives developer confidence to actually send in pull requests. So if you are able to identify all this issue early on with your IDE, you can better know that once it goes into testing, it will definitely reduce the number of issues that's coming back to you after the UAT test or after the QA team looks through it. So hopefully with these few tools in mind, you can actually develop better quality codes and making sure that your time is spent on making new development, new features, innovating with what you have rather than spending time trying to understand what someone has written 3 years ago or what some of the code that ChatGPT has sent to you. And also to make sure that whatever code you copy from ChatGPT or Copilot meet a certain standard before it goes into production. So in short, what Sonar is here for is to help you make sure you fix the issue before they enter your pipeline. And with SonarCube Server and SonarCube Cloud, to fix the issue after they leave the pipeline. So we hope that using all these tools, you can develop better software and minimize the amount of security risk, even if you use generative AI as part of your repertoire. So if you want to find out more about what Sonar can do, you can also visit us at sonarsource.com to understand the kind of rules, the kinds of features that we have in our various products. I'm going to leave the question and answer towards the end. So if you have any questions around what Sonar can do and how you can improve, please feel free to chip in later on during the Q&A session. So I'm going to hand it over back
Thank you, Ronnie, for the wonderful presentation. And I believe now we can take the question and answer. Ronnie and Sanket. Okay, this is the poll 3 that we see on the screen. Are you planning to use Sonar? I request all the uh, audience to please submit the response. Are you planning to use Sonar? Yes, I plan to use it in all my projects. Yes, I plan to use it in some of my projects. These are the two options. Can we have the results, responses on the screen? Are you planning to use Sonar? Please submit your responses and here are the results. So 43% says plan to use it in all their projects and 57% says plan to use in some of their projects. Ronnie, would you like to comment anything on this before we open the floor for the question and answer?
Yeah, that's really good to hear that people are planning to use Sonar. So we do hope that you can reach out to us if you have more questions about the features and how we can support you in your journey to a better software.
Right, thank you. So can we open the floor for the question and answer now? Ronnie and Sanket?
Sure.
Yes, okay, all right. So uh, once again, thank you, Ronnie and Sanket, for the presentation. And I already see some of the questions on my screen. The first is from Mr. Saeed Saifullah Hussaini. He says, I am from JPMC. It's a challenge to use all these products because of security reasons. How can we solve this problem? So, Ronnie and Sanket, this question is on security concerns. Please comment from your side.
So maybe I can chip in with some answer from Sona. So we understand that each individual organization had their own security requirement. And that's why at Sona, we also allow our SonarCube server to be used in an enclosed environment without internet connection. So maybe just to let you understand as well, Sonar is used in the US Department of Defense as well. So we do enable a few security features that allows you to encrypt data when you're using on-prem and things like that. So definitely we support quite a number of security features, but we also, especially with bigger banks, like you mentioned, work with them to make sure that we actually fulfill all your security criteria as well. So definitely reach out to us if let's say it's something that you want to explore. We can definitely work with the internal security team to help you see how can Sonar then fit into your corporate policy.
All right. Thank you,
So
Ronnie. Thank you. Thank you so much for your response. We also, I like to tell audience, we also have Harvey with us. So can I ask the same question to you, Harvey, on the security concerns? If you can please switch on your camera and yeah, thanks, Harvey.
Yep. Thank you so much. Thanks, Sasha. Hi, and hi, everyone. I'm Harvey from Sonar. I believe the question could be also in regards of the security of the code generation tools, right? Like ChatGPT and Copilot. Now, firstly, I would say definitely get the enterprise version, right? There's definitely better SLAs as well as security assurance if you know you're on Copilot Enterprise or you know you're on ChatGPT Enterprise. But after that, and you have embedded in as part of your development process, you know, always have something to actually check the work that they do, so that you know you might be using AI to code, but you need AI code assurance. And one of the tools that could help you do that is definitely Sonar and our range of tools and products, and by working hand in hand with, Copilot as well as ChatGPT, Tab9, and so on and so forth, right? It's really a better together story, and there will be AI code assurance as you proceed on this productivity journey with AI.
Right. So, Harvey, is it also good to regularly audit and review this AI generated code for vulnerabilities?
Well, the answer is definitely yes and no. as Ronnie has shared, it gets a lot more expensive, right? If you fix issues within your code base later in the process, right? And typically when you go on an audit-based method, you can only do it later in the software development lifecycle, right? And where it gets expensive, it gets really annoying to actually fix it, right? So it's much better to have something just within your IDE itself. So the moment the AI generated code touch your code base, you already have a clear view of what the issues are and what the bugs are, and you can make the judgment call from there. From there, right? It's also important to have quality gates very early in the process. So in Sonar perspective, we apply quality gates in your pull request, merge request. So much earlier in the process than, for example, running an audit after the application go live. And in that case, majority of the code is application based, is AI generated.
Right, right. Thank you. So before I take the next question from the audience, just one more question from my side I'd like to ask. Anyone can, Ronnie or Harvey. So can you share real examples of companies, using this generative AI successfully and securely?
Yeah, definitely. So we've spoken to quite a number of customers who actually have start to use Copilot because of all their corporate policy. They are allowed to enable them to use Copilot. So we do have examples of when they start to suggest the code, what to add in, and then directly in the IDE, we do have the SonarCube IDE where we try to pick up issues as soon as possible when the code just get filtered in. So that's where I think I can't really share any specific example right now. I can definitely do a demonstration for those who are interested later on. So if you can try out ChatGPT even as well, yeah, there's definitely examples of issues being surfaced that's being picked up by Sonar.
Right, great. Okay, let's take next question from
Yeah.
Fatima Rawat, and this
Actually,
is again an
Harshal, I just want to jump in there. There are actually case studies publicly on Sonar website. One that I would like to highlight is Exoff. Exoff is one of the largest software company in Argentina, so Central America. Right, and they do something similar to SAP, but very locally within the Central America region, right? So this is a team of hundreds of developers, right? And they are utilizing AI, right? So what they do is that they use SonarQube, right? Number one, to set the quality gate, right? So they have AI-based quality gate, which is applied to projects which they know the developers are using ChatGPT or Copilot to code, right? And they have certain policies that really encourage them to do that because of the productivity gains, right? So they use these quality gates, but at the same time, the rules and rule profile that is attached to these quality gates, the developer have access to it directly within their IDE itself. So what they can do is sort of like a linter, right? Whether is it AI generated or human generated code, the entire development team is benefiting from this central profile. So the standards are very, very clear for them. And, for the VP of engineering, they sleep well at night because they know that bad code can't pass. Any issues cannot pass a certain stage, and it cannot be exploited when because there's something that is really blocking this. There's a guard over there that is blocking any critical issues from going into production.
right. Great. Thank you for those additional inputs. And before I take next question, once again, I'd like to remind everyone at the end of this webinar, probably will take 5 to 10 minutes more on the questions. Everyone is requested to please submit the survey form also. There will be a survey in the end, and I request everyone to please stay back and fill the survey form. So next question is from Fatima. How seamlessly does Sonar integrate with existing development tools and pipelines?
So maybe I can take this. So Sonar itself support quite a number of DevOps platform. So we do out of the box, we support all the popular ones from GitLab, GitHub, Azure DevOps, Bitbucket. We also support CI pipeline tool like Jenkins, Circle CI, some of the more popular one. And we also provide a CLI tool. which means that if your development tool pipeline are able to run command line, you can run Sonar itself. So the setup is pretty simple as well. So with, like, for example, GitLab itself, all you need to is just to put in a few access token, and then the integration will be quite seamless. Our integration also include what we call merge or pull request declaration, which means that you are able to publish the scan results directly in a DevOps platform. So your developers don't actually have to go back to Sonar. They can see everything from the IDE to the DevOps platform without leaving their favorite toolkit. So this is something that Sonar does because we are always a developer first
Right.
perspective. Yeah.
Right. Thank you. Again, Said is asking, he wants to know the roadmap for Copilot and Sonar future enhancement for addition of Gen AI in SDLC practices.
So maybe on this part as well, I can share that Sonar is definitely looking at Gen AI capability in the future as well. At the current version that we had, we actually provide an easy way, or rather using Gen AI to help you remediate the issues as well. So what you can see in our latest version of Sonar Cube, we do have this thing called AI code fix, where when we detect an issues that you have, instead of providing example code, we look at the source code the developer has created and submitted, and then try to suggest what changes do they need to make directly to the source code. So the developer actually can have an easier time understanding what kind of changes they need to make to rectify this particular issue. So this is the kind of Gen AI features that we have currently right now. Again, this is something that we will improve on or add on and enhance in the future. This is definitely a roadmap, something on our roadmap, something that we are very focused on right now to help you utilize Gen AI as well as making use of Gen AI in our product lineup as well. Yeah.
All right. Harvey, would you like to?
Yeah. So so now we're an AI first company, right? We're trying to make responsible AI in the world of software development a thing. So there's a lot of improvement in terms of hiring researchers that could help us do this. Currently, we have capabilities in AI code assurance and as well as code fix, which helps with the remediation and the fixing part of things when it comes to writing source code. But definitely there's a very exciting roadmap to share. Unfortunately, not now, but there are things that are coming over there.
Right. Let's take the next question. How do we do security scan like Sonar, like cross-site scripting, SQL injection, vulnerability scan, etc. This is from Pitabas Pradhan.
Maybe you can take this as well. So in Sonar, we does this kind of what we call taint analysis. So in terms of SQL injection, we also enable developer to do all this scanning as well. So not just SQL injection, we also do path injections, logging injections, any kind of data that is flowing through your end user, which means uncontrolled data itself. We will try to trace it and make sure that it does not end up in any security sensitive method. So
Right.
in Sonar, we also allow you to do that with third party, plug in a library, or you customize it for your internal library as well. So this is something that we Sonar do as part of our security suite.
Thank you. Thank you, Ronnie. Next question is from Alifia Saeed. And what are the tangible productivity improvements or cost saving from implementing Sonar? Harvey, would you like to comment on this?
Yes, definitely. Right. So when it comes to productivity improvement, I think we want to stick to the facts, right? The facts is there are surveys done out there that developers spend majority of their time really on looking at bad code, looking at old code. I believe there's a study by Stripe in 2019 right? So about 5 years, 5 years ago, where they found out that in the developers that they survey, they spend about 43% of their time on fixing old code, right, that has an issue or vulnerability, on refactoring, and on fixing their own technical debt, right? And this is something that costs out. So Sonar over here, because of the way that we fit in different stages of the SDLC, we really reduce this, right, by flagging out these issues earlier, where it's much faster and easier to fix, right? And just imagine that we are able to reduce this by maybe 10%, or even 20%. You really got to look at, what is the enhancement in terms of productivity, and how much did the developer cost, right? And then do an ROI analysis from there, right?
Thank you, Harvey. There is one suggestion from Milin. It will be more fruitful if we have walkthrough of actual case study or simulation explaining how Sonar help in removing
Yes.
bugs and making bug-free code in production at various stages of SDLC. So this is, I would like to tell everyone, you may please, the phone number is there on the screen. The email addresses are there on the screen. Please note them. And you are most welcome to get in touch with any one of all the three speakers, Ronnie, Sanket, and Harvey, and they will be more than happy to assist you with all this, what we call the case study or
Yeah.
simulation explaining. So please get in touch with them. And now, before we close
I
this,
I I also want to input. I think that's very good feedback, Million. We will note it down, and improve in the future, and definitely reach out to you via email on the walkthrough, right? Prepared materials into the walkthrough, and if that you have any questions regarding that, feel free to reach out to our partners here, enreap.
right. Okay. Thank you. So before we, close this session formally, I would request Ronnie, Sanket, and Harvey to, please deliver the final comment from your side on around the subject. Any message that you would like to probably, share with our audience. And at the same time, one more thing, one subject that I'd like to request you to comment on if possible. How do we handle this compliance when using generative AI in regulated industries? This is one of the subject that probably you can also comment on with your final comments.
Maybe I can go first. So I guess I think with the trend, as you can see right now, AI is definitely coming in, and technology is definitely going to get more and more complicated and complex. And this is something that you really need to set up the good practice right now, because if you wait until things start to get rolling, it's going to be too late. So you're going to have a lot more issues trying to fix things later on than right now. So it's good to have everything organized and have the scanning, have the pipeline up and running before you embark on the journey to build the better software. So yeah, I hope that you will consider Sonar then, and also our partner here, enreap.
Yeah.
Right. Harvey, comments from your side?
Thank you, Hershel. Well, so I think the best advice is, continue learning, and don't be scared with this new technology, which has been around for a very long time, but recently popularized, right? It's really not much difference than how us developers has been doing things, right? Before this, we copied other developers' code in Stack Overflow functions that they have written. After that, it became open source libraries, and it was third party libraries, right? And there was a huge thing in companies maybe about 8 to 10 years ago, whereby say, hey, we're not allowing anyone to use third party libraries because we do not know what is in them, and it's hard to check, right? And then there's technologies that came around like software composition analysis, SCA, which specifically checks this, right? And it took some time for the leaders in the engineering space to be comfortable and say, oh, okay, third-party libraries. It helps with developers' productivity. I'm going to allow everyone to use that. But I'm going to implement SCA as a checker, right, to make sure that risks are being measured, right? So this is the same case as AI from my opinion, right? AI code generation. You need something to validate. You need something to assure while, not being experimental and continue using new technology that really helps with our evolution in general.
Thank you. Thank you, Harvey. Sanket, you would like to comment anything?
Yeah, thanks, Arshal. I think I won't add much about AI, like Harvey and Roni has already done it. So I would suggest all of you to come up with your use cases about the Sonar Cube, the IDE, and the about the Gen AI use cases, and we are happy to address them. So that's it. I'm good to go.
Thank you. Thank you. Thank you, everyone. So, with this, we shall formally close. We are going to share the survey form with everyone. We request everyone to please fill that form. It's very important for all of us. And with this, I thank Ronnie, Sanket, Harvey for your wonderful comments, your presentations. And I would like to encourage delegates and audience, please get in touch with all three of them anytime you want for more information. You can also get in touch with Express Computer team, and we will be more than happy to connect you with any one of them anytime. So I believe we shall now close this session formally. We are going to share a survey form with everyone. So we request everyone to please fill that survey form. Thank you.
Thank you very much, guys. Thank you
Thank you
so
so much.
much. Have a good day.